All right, let's talk about the future of search, because it's coming faster than you think. By 2026, a lot of the old SEO rules, well, they're just not going to apply anymore. So today, we're going to walk through a completely new strategy, one that's built for speed and for AI. We're calling it the Velocity Playbook.
So let me just ask you, straight up, is your SEO strategy kind of stuck in the past? I mean, if you're planning what to write next month by looking at what people searched for last month, you are almost certainly missing the biggest opportunities that are happening, right now. It's a super common trap, but it's one we've got to get out of.
And this slide just perfectly lays out the shift. The old way of doing things, looking at historical data, it's kind of like trying to drive a car by only looking in the rearview mirror. Yeah, you can see where you've been, but you have absolutely no clue what's right in front of you. The new way, it's all about velocity. It's about tapping into what people want this minute, as that interest is surging, not after everyone else has already moved on.
Which brings us to the core idea here, search velocity. Now, this doesn't mean you throw out all your high-volume keywords, not at all. It means you're adding a new, absolutely critical layer to your strategy, the speed at which a topic is suddenly getting popular.
And the main signal you're looking for, the thing that tells you, hey, pay attention, is what we call a breakout trend. This isn't just another keyword that's slowly gaining steam. No, this is a term that basically explodes out of nowhere. It's a flare gun in the dark showing you exactly where a huge new wave of customer interest is.
And just look at the scale of what we're talking about here. To even be called a breakout trend, a search term has to grow by more than 5,000%. This isn't some small little bump. This is a seismic shift in what people are curious about.
Okay, and here's where the speed really comes into play. The tools that spot these trends, they update every 10 minutes. That's it. That's your entire window of opportunity. If you can spot a trend and act on it inside that tiny cycle, that's what we call the 10-minute advantage. It's all about being first.
But hold on. Not every spike you see is a golden opportunity. In fact, a lot of them are just noise. So the next big skill you have to master is learning how to decode these spikes to find the real trends, the ones that are actually worth your time.
And really, it just boils down to this: understanding the difference between an active trend and a lasted trend. Active trends are still on the way up. All the signs point to more growth. That's your green light. Go. But lasted trends, they've already hit their peak and are on the way down. Chasing those is just throwing good money after bad.
And listen, this is not as easy as it sounds. Figuring out exactly when that peak happens is a real technical challenge. You've got to deal with all sorts of things like noisy data, normal seasonal changes, and of course, telling the difference between a real, genuine trend and just some silly one-day viral blip.
So, let's say you've done it. You've navigated the challenges, you spotted a true active trend. What's next? Well, the goal isn't just to get on a list of blue links anymore. The new game is all about feeding the AI answer engine, and that strategy has a name: Generative Engine Optimization, or GEO.
GEO is a really fundamental change in thinking. It's all about finding the gaps, the questions that an AI can't answer yet about a new trend, and then creating amazing content that specifically fills that information void. The whole point is to become the trusted primary source that the AI leans on to build its answer.
And the playbook for this is actually pretty simple. It's just 3 steps. First, you spot that active trend spike. Second, you go search for it yourself and see where the AI's answer is weak or incomplete. That's the information void. And third, you jump in and fill that gap with clear, factual, authoritative content that the AI can actually use.
This right here, this is the new trophy. Ranking number 1 is still great, don't get me wrong, but being the cited source inside the AI's generated summary, that's even better. Why? Because user behavior is already changing. People search, they verify the AI summary, and then they click the citation for the details. You want to be that citation.
So, we have the big idea and we have the strategy. But how do we actually make this happen day in and day out? Well, it all comes down to the engine that runs this whole operation, a really strategic content calendar.
You know, there's an old saying that success isn't accidental, it's planned. And that has never been more true than right now. Just creating random pieces of content and hoping for the best, that just doesn't cut it anymore. You need a system, a blueprint.
And that system looks a little something like this. See, a great calendar is so much more than a list of topics and dates. It's more like a GPS for your content. It strategically connects every single thing you create to a specific keyword, and, just as importantly, to a specific stage in your customer's journey, all the way from just becoming aware of a problem to making a final decision.
So you have to remember this. Your calendar is not a static to-do list. It needs to be a dynamic engine. It's the machine that takes all those real-time insights you're getting from spotting trends and actually turns them into perfectly timed content that drives real traffic.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. That Trending Now engine is going to refresh in about 10 minutes, and it might just reveal the next huge breakout trend for your business. So the only real question is, are you going to be ready for it?